So you did it. You put in the decades of work, you saved diligently, and now you are officially retired. But this amazing new chapter brings one of the biggest financial questions you'll ever have to face. What in the world do you do with your money now that the paychecks have stopped coming in? This is the question, isn't it? It's the one that keeps a lot of new retirees up at night because the game has totally changed. It's not about how much you can pile up anymore. Now it's all about making what you've built last for the rest of your life. And that could easily be another 20, 30, or who knows, maybe even 40 years. And this really gets to the heart of a huge mindset shift. I mean, for your entire career, the goal was simple: growth, accumulation, just make the number bigger. But now you have to pivot completely. The new goals are preservation, you got to protect what you've got, and creating a reliable stream of income to actually live on. And that brings us right to the main challenge, what our source material calls the post-paycheck problem. It sounds simple, but wow, it's profound. Your main source of income is just gone. But the bills for the mortgage, the groceries, healthcare, all of it, yeah, they definitely keep showing up. So essentially, that nest egg you spent a lifetime building, it has a brand new job. It's not just a number on a page anymore. It needs to become your new paycheck. The entire mission now is to transform those assets into a dependable income stream that you can count on month in and month out. But before you can build that income stream, you have to understand the things that can tear it all down. Seriously, the decisions you make in your first few years of retirement are so critical, and they've got to account for these 4 major risks. Okay, first up is market risk. Now, when you were working, a big market downturn was almost a good thing, a buying opportunity, right? But in retirement, when you're taking money out, a major loss can be absolutely devastating. You're forced to sell low just to pay your bills, and that can permanently damage the portfolio that's supposed to support you for life. Next, we have inflation risk. I like to call this the silent portfolio killer. A fixed income of, say, $5,000 a month sounds pretty good today, but think about it. In 10 or 20 years, what will that $5,000 actually buy? Inflation just eats away at your purchasing power, meaning your money buys less and less every single year. Then there's longevity risk. And, this is the one that really worries people the most. It's that deep-seated fear of the well running dry while you're still alive and kicking. And with people living longer than ever before, planning for an income that lasts as long as you do is absolutely essential. And finally, we have what might be the most misunderstood threat of all: sequence of returns risk. This is all about timing. If the market takes a nosedive right after you retire, you're forced to pull money from a shrinking portfolio to live on. This has a massive negative impact and can dramatically increase the odds of you running out of money down the road. It's a really big deal. So with all those risks swirling around, how do you even begin to build a plan? Well, one really powerful strategy is to, in effect, create your own personal pension. The whole idea is to build a foundational layer of income that's guaranteed, it's predictable, and it's designed to last your entire life. And this is the core concept right here. See, unlike a traditional pension that's controlled by your old employer, this strategy uses a financial tool, a lifetime income annuity, to create a pension-like income stream that you own and you control. This makes sure that no matter what, you have money coming in. The strategy really just boils down to a simple 2-step process. First, you figure out your essential, non-negotiable expenses. Housing, food, healthcare, the must-haves. The goal is to cover all of those with guaranteed income. Once that's done, your other assets can be used for the fun stuff, the flexible spending, travel, hobbies, or leaving a legacy. So the central tactic to pull this off is pretty straightforward. You start with the guaranteed income you already have coming in, which for most people is Social Security. Then you basically supplement it by turning a piece of your savings into another guaranteed stream, like from an annuity. This way, you ensure all your essential needs are covered, no matter what the stock market is doing. This whole approach is often called the bucket strategy. You're basically creating a safety bucket and filling it with assets that are protected from market risk and are specifically designed to produce that predictable income we've been talking about. So let's look at a few of the tools you can use to fill that bucket. Okay, let's quickly break down these tools. First, you've got a fixed annuity, which is also called a MICA. Just think of it like a CD you'd get from an insurance company. It gives you a simple, guaranteed interest rate for a certain number of years. Easy. Next is the fixed indexed annuity. This one offers you the potential for more growth because its interest is linked to a market index. But, and this is the most important part, your principal is protected from any market losses. You can't lose your initial investment.
And finally, there's the bonus annuity, which can give you an upfront boost to your account, which can be really useful if you're trying to make up for any recent market dips.
All right, so we've covered the why and the what. Now, how do you actually put a plan like this into action? What are the first practical steps you should be taking?
For a lot of new retirees, a really common starting point is just consolidation. By rolling over those old employer plans, like a 401k or a 403b, into a personal IRA, you just get so much more control and a much wider menu of investment and income options to build your strategy with.
So the path forward really involves a few key moves. You consolidate your accounts into an IRA. Then you sit down and get super clear on what your essential income needs really are. From there, you can evaluate different options, like the annuities we talked about, to create that guaranteed income floor. And finally, you build a structured plan for how you'll withdraw from your remaining assets. And all of this brings us to the final and most crucial question you really have to ask yourself. As you step into this next part of your life, is the income you plan to live on built on a solid foundation of guarantees, or is it built on a hopeful guess about what the market might do next? The answer to that question will truly shape your entire retirement.